just for discussion afterwards. So
Yeah.
if you have something to add or if you want to comment, then you're most welcome to do so.
There are some people here who doesn't know about me. So I'll give my background, what I have already crossed across lots of disciplines. So basically I was an engineer from southeast of India. Then I just shifted to northeast for doing my design, which was a very interesting subject. So it started with, as engineering as a background, I felt like doing stuffs like an engine, like you have lots of power and you're working. So I started making some heat exchangers, lots of mechanical devices which was there, and I tried to explore them and find different mechanisms because engineering had lots of maths, and I didn't know that why I'm learning maths, because no idea why should I learn maths. So using maths I just completed my engineering. Then as a Desi I can call, because I did my Master of Design, but DESI for me is Desi because I am from India. We call Desi food Desi guy. So as a Desi, I worked in different shapes and forms, and why I should give beauty to forms was because of what I studied from engineering. I didn't have any beauty to it. How to give beauty to objects. I didn't have any idea. So I just explored forms, and I worked in lots of beautiful projects which I didn't have any idea why I was working on this. Because most of the time the professors in my institute was trying to explain me what beauty is. This is what you should give for the industry. This is what people need. And these all, what I did was basically to have an exposure of what I did in engineering and bring design as what industrial design, or so I made bicycles, I did lots of stuff, but I didn't have any idea why I'm doing this. So this is the interesting part, where I met some crazy people. They are like, I don't know, they are like some crazy people. They were like doing something for humanity. They were talking about science. They want to do something for people, surrounded by you, and bring new values to humanity. Was very interesting for me to work with different artists. Bart and Christina was two of the members who I met in India, and they brought me here, and they are the two craziest people. And I was working with other artists also in India, because I was very comfortable to work with people who are very close to humanity, rather than working with people who wants to make beautiful stuff, design. What is this? I don't know why people are very interested in seeing beautiful things. So working for humanity was very interesting for me, and this is what I contributed with Bart. He brought a very good notion of humanity through floating spiral, and this I worked for another artist where he was crazy, saying that make something that when people go lost, it should glow in the leg. So I thought it's interesting. Maybe the future, I don't know how it works, but it was quite interesting for me and impressive. So should have peace for some time. Yes, I press the button and it's gone back. So recently, before coming to here in Brussels, I was working as a researcher in IIT Bombay, and my project was interested in bionics and how bionics is related to different living things surrounded by you. So an interesting write-up which I realized that a small kid wrote that how the pomegranate was born or how it came. So she wrote that there was once a flower in the bloom into which many ants had crawled. Suddenly the flower closed and the ants were trapped inside. So she said that they made little eggs and stayed in there forever, and the first pomegranate was born. So it made some interesting thought in my mind as contributing something, working as a researcher in the institute, that there is a growth in every plant and living things which you have surrounded by you, but it's unseen. So how to relate, where does the growth starts from? Is it starting from the seed, or it is starting from the flower, or the flower itself is the growth? So the whole thing of identifying where the growth is and to understand the geometrical relationship was an interesting thing for me. So I started to get tons of pomegranates, and in order to understand the geometrical structures inside the pomegranate and how it is placed, I just start dissecting it. I have no idea why I was dissecting it, to understand the geometry of it, and I couldn't identify in 5 or 6 pomegranates because it was very difficult to open and I didn't find it easy. So on the way of process, an interesting thing I visualized is the arils inside the pomegranate. Arils is the fluid jelly thing which is inside the sac of the pomegranate, that these membranes and arils have placed in certain geometry which is not seen through our visible eyes. We just throw it and we just open it. So in order to realize what is the geometry inside it, to how did God put some calculations or something, I have no idea. How did He do these things? So that's where I started visualizing that there are certain geometries which is placed inside the pomegranate. So I started decoding it. So I tried it because this was a sponsored project, so I couldn't work more into it. So I just gave an exploration that geometry can be placed as a generative thing. So I called it Pomegenerate. The project is Pomegenerate, the undisclosed generative formation of pomegranate. So I just ventured what all geometries are inside the pomegranate. So that's the last project which I did in India, and this is how I started realizing that whenever I see things around me, I thought there are lots of living things and non-living things. But if an opportunity is given to me to just decode it, to find things what is there in the living structures or non-living. Example, for if you're taking a tree, so there are certain things in the tree which allows it to grow as a tree, and it has certain proportions and it doesn't change like anything. And an elephant, a small elephant can't resemble a big rat. It's different. It doesn't be the same because the proportions, the geometry, there are structures, there are kinetics, there are lots of other things which we can't see, the human eye can't see. But if it is possible to make people see, is what I was interested. So I thought of decoding whatever things are surrounded by me in nature as living and non-living. This is how I started the Decode project. So I see this structure. Why I took this structure? Because this structure resembles me. How did I decode to make the structure? So it had a huge process of decoding. So there are only two geometrical structures. One is isosceles and a right triangle, which has different shapes and formations which are entirely different to make the perfect geometry of that, the symbol of the project Decode. So there are some relations which we can't see. through our eyes. It's a order of disorder. So in order to decode all these things, it's very important to know how the growth is happening and how it relates to decay and all those things. So this is how I started giving a sentence to it, looking at the prospects of an existence of geometrical structures in living and non-living beings and its potential application using new technologies and materials. Because the materials and the technologies are very fast in now, and it's very difficult to identify which technology is used for what and how you can. So how you can manipulate it. So there are certain technologies where you can bring yourself, where it is unidentified in nature. So how to decode these things. So that's how I do it. So there are some relations to nature. As I said, beauty. So there are certain patterning in all these living things like trees, leaves, flowers, natural beings, hairs, and your hand. Everything has certain structures being placed, and there is a decay in it also. So there is a growth inside your living space, but there is also a decay which you can't see it. You might only realize it that it's gone. If you're seeing a mirror in front of you, you don't see the growth. But if someone else comes near you and say that, wow, you're being grown. So it's like that. So growth is appreciated but not seen, and decay is also disrespected in sense, and it's not seen. So I started exploring my forms through taking some pipes, and this is generative. I use some software for generative. So I realized that if a twist is given to a certain pipes, what might happen? So it relates to angles or how much degree you rotate. So these all relates to length, volume, proportions, and arrangement of growth. So there is generative, regeneration, evolution of growth. So as you see, geometrical relations are, for me as an individual of an engineer, I feel maths is very close to science. So reading lots of books on science and how people are relating it to maths, but most of them were critics. How maths can be brought into science, because some artists were helping scientists and some scientists were helping artists. So it was like a collaborative effort. But these all things made me a question that the direction of where I am going and what am I doing. So I got a very interesting word from botany. It's called phyllotaxis. It's phyllotaxis, or phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves in a plant's stem. So some things we don't realize that how the surrounding things, plants or leaves of stones, how are it being placed. So there is a very important mathematical regularity which you can't see through your eyes, but it is visible everywhere. So there is patterning in different geometries, that is alternate, opposite, vold, and a spiral. And the rosette is a type of spiral which is related to vold. So the rosette is seen in lots of plants. Most of the wild plants like agave, Americana, and dandelion. So it's a circular arrangement of leaves. So there is a geometry which is placed by the nature to form these things. So going to phyllotaxis, if you are going in depth, there are lots of relations to spiral. The world is also, of the evolution of world is also, origin of life is also a spiral. So there are lots of things in stems and leaves and trees which relates to geometry. So everything what I did research is on seeing the proportions and how they are related to mathematics. So most of them are in Fibonacci series. So 1 plus 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. It's like that. So each rotation is having a certain angle for leaves. As you see, different types of leaves. Like beech and hazel has an angle of 1 by 3. Oak and apricot has a 2 by 5. Poplar and pair has 3 by 8. So the numerator and the denominator has certain calculations which is related to Fibonacci. So that's how max is very close to the biological aspect of trees and plants and flowers and composite fruits, everything. So I saw a very good example of this cactus. It's spherical in shape, but there are in certain degrees the flower is grown. But why should the flower grow there itself? It can grow anywhere else. But there are certain relations to geometry and also some dynamic things happening inside the cactus. But we can't see through our visual eyes. How to decode these things? I have no idea. I should try it. So, an amazing person. So I don't know what to say about him. So he said, he said that the science is, without the layer of mathematics, there is no biology or science. So he said that the Fibonacci pattern is, which is seen in plants and animals, it has the capacity to capture the dew and level the dew. There is some relations which allow the cactus to live in itself. But we don't know. They are wild plants. We have no idea why they are staying there. But there are something which makes them covered and secure and they are living. But there are some things which is unidentified too. That's what I am really interested to decode it. So here, now the recent architects and scientists are working on moisture, rainfall and sunlight capturing from these plants. So the recent paper I read is about magnetic cactus experimentally demonstrates mathematical plant patterns. So Phyllotaxis, they brought something very interesting, that they saw the spiral in itself has a magnetic principles. It's static, but there are some principles which are related to the Fibonacci series, which relates to the replica. What do you say for that? The repulsion of the magnets. So they brought new mechanisms which is entirely related to cylindrical constrained repulsive objects. So combining these all things, I just forgot these all things and I was just thinking of spirals. Then I realized that in 1965 there was lots of instruments like spirographs. So from spirals they created geometry and they tried to make lots of patterns with these tool, and how to relate this to nature was very important. So these things, I suppose these things are very important in our life to bring beauty to ourselves is through relating this to nature. So the person in itself, Dennis Fisher, may have taken, I suppose, I have no idea, may have taken the elements from the nature, from the Fibonacci series to make an n number of iterations to change your flower, change sunflower like something else. What sunflower you want, it's up to you too. That's what he might have tried to say through this. So there are lots of mathematical relationship towards bringing organic and nature into form. So these, the Penrose styling also was very interesting for me. He was working on order and disorder. He was taking symmetrical patterns and playing with asymmetry. So in our daily life, we have lots of symmetry and we are very structured. But there is a difference between we have lots of enjoyment in ourselves, but that's the asymmetric part. So how to bring these things together? That's what he have tried to show in tiling. So these are my explorations, what I did till now, till 29. And I am very curious to explore more on metaphors using geometrical relations and how to reflect it to growth. So maybe I might propose two models like static and more dynamic, and the representations will be in two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So sometimes the possible interventions can be on flowers, flower heads, composite fruits and green herbs. So it's very close to nature. So I'm collaborating with Christina on also generative algorithms. So I was working for her beehive. So, and she asked me something very interesting, that you have beehive structures which have been very natural in itself, but how to relate these things. The hexagon has this particular pattern and it has a growth. So how to show these things is only through generative here. So each module has each different shapes. It's the same hexagon, but it has different proportions. So how to bring these things for her was very interesting for me. So I did a generative beehive keeping for her, so that people can come and generate their own beehive and improve the farming. So I'm using a plugin for Rhino 3D where you give generative algorithms for generating forms, which you can manipulate yourself and see hundreds of iterations. So this is a new software which was done in 2009, and I'm working with this generative modeling software where you can generate parametric relationship of models, different models, which I can decode it from nature and manipulate it. So that's all from now. For now. So feedbacks.